Fight fans, it's Michelle Joy Phelps, and I'm joined now with Ohara Davies. Ohara, it's good to see you, as it's been quite some time.
Yeah, it has. It's been. You know, it's been. I haven't fought in about 13 months now. I've been out of the game for quite some time, and I'm just glad. I'm looking forward to be getting back in there, doing what I do best. Let's fight.
Right. So we know that you're facing Ismael Barroso on November the 26th. But before we get on to the fights and all the important things coming up in terms of your career, one of the things I really want to sort of talk to you a bit about is, you know, sort of the journey as to where you are now, like mentally, psychologically, because as I was watching some videos that you've done recently, or even in the last several months, like I know one of our correspondents interviewed you about 7 months ago, and there were a few things that had come up that made me want to question, I kind of want to ask him what's up with the status of everything at the minute. So you, and I don't mean any disrespect by this when I say it, right? But you come off very mature and calm now. And I know that you made comments. You're like, oh, you know, it's a new Ohara Davies. It's a new me. And so I kind of want to talk a bit about that and sort of like figure out like what got you to this point.
Yeah, I think I've really calmed down. You know, over the years, I feel like when I first turned pro, it was all new to me. The whole industry, the lights, the camera, the action, money, getting paid for fights, like getting money. Everything was all new to me, and I feel like I wasn't mature and I wasn't guided in the right way to act in a mature manner. I was more left free to roam, make the mistakes. You know what? I just wanted to say I wanted to be like Floyd. I wanted to be like Ali. People I've been watching my whole life. They done this. I want to do that as well. Instead of being myself, I wanted to be others. And I feel like as the years gone by, as I got a lot more older, mature, I made a couple of mistakes in the game, trial and error. I've learned just to be myself now, and I've learned how to be myself, and I've learned that there's nothing wrong with me being myself. You know, yeah. So I think that's just what helps me get to where I'm at right now.
Well, let's talk about the trial and errors, right?
Yeah.
In an interview you had just done recently, I believe it was with IFL, you talked a bit about like, you know, the partying at one point, the girls at one point. How are things now? Like, how have you been able to sort of create these boundaries now where you're able to focus?
To be honest, Michelle, the partying was never the issue. I never party. I don't drink. I drink probably once a year. I don't get drunk, nothing like that. The issue with me, it was always the girls. You can ask any of my good friends. And like literally, they will tell you my issue was always the girls. You know, me being an amateur boxer for such a long time, and I wasn't the most attractive guy. Didn't have any money or nothing like that. So I never got any attention from girls. And then all I know is that one day I turned pro, I get signed to Matchroom, and I've got the blue tick on Instagram. I'm on the TV. I'm with AJ in the gym. I get a few pictures and girls see it. I'm now an attractive guy. I've got a bit of money now. I drive a car. I had an Audi A5. Like, girls like me now. And me not knowing how to handle it because I've never had it in my life, I was like a kid in a candy store. It's like, wow. And instead of me being in the gym, focusing like I should have been doing, I was more out with these girls and like this girl this week, now another girl next week, different hotels, different restaurants, enjoying life, having fun. My focus wasn't in the right place, but that's all due to immaturity. But as the years have gone by and I've had the girls, I've had so many hot girls now, I've kind of matured and I kind of see things now the way that I should have seen things back then. But I guess it was all new to me. I was like a kid in a candy store.
So where have you sort of built these boundaries now? Because the temptation doesn't stop. You know that. So where or how have you been able to sort of create this environment, this healthy environment for yourself, so that you can actually focus again on your career?
It's more the fact that I more sat back one day, I took a look at my whole life and I focused on, I tried to look at what the good things and the bad things. And I was like, what helped me get far? What helps me progress in my boxing career? What got me here versus what held me back? And the camps, the fights that I lost that I wasn't focused for, the issue was always girls. It was always the girls. And so, I just sat down one day and I said, I've got to be disciplined during camp. I need to be bored during camp. I need to have my feet up. Don't be out here, out there, in different places. Relax, chill. But I've learned that through the mistakes that I've made. If I never made those certain mistakes, I never would have learned this.
Mhm.
So, through those trials and errors, I've learned what boundaries I need to set, and then it's just about having the discipline to follow through, and that's what I've done.
So let's sort of take it back a bit, in terms of your the last fights you've had. What have you really taken from? And I like to ask this question because what have you taken from your losses? Like, what have you learned the most about yourself through those losses?
Okay. Well, let's talk about
Not
first. Let's
quite.
talk
I mean,
about
it's not like a ton.
let's talk about the Taylors, because I've lost 2 fights on paper. So the Taylor's loss. Listen, I thought David Matthews. I don't only blame me. I blame the team I had for that loss as well, in a way, because I fought David Matthews in March, and so that was my first half decent paycheck
Mm.
ever. And I fought Taylor in July, March, April, May, June, July. That was like 3.5 months after. I went from one big fight to a second big fight in the space of 3.5 months. But me being from where I'm from and I've never had anything in my life, when I got paid after that Dave Matthews fight, first thing I bought was a brand new Audi A5 out with girls. My team should have seen that and said, you know what? This guy's enjoying life. Let's let him enjoy life for a few more months. Then let's give him this next big fight. But like no, it was like that fight got done out of the way and then bang, Taylor fight came straight after. But me being so immature back then, I never thought about it. I just thought, you know what? I'll just do what I've always done, go and knock out this bum. But I never knew that was going to be my first loss. But just looking back now, I would have taken out more time just to enjoy life, enjoy the girls, make some mistakes. It's okay to make some mistakes.
Right.
I'm not perfect. I don't think anyone is. Making the mistakes with the girls and stuff, that wasn't the issue. The issue was that Taylor's fight, it was a bit too soon after I fought Dave Matthews. And I mentally wasn't ready to juggle the girls' lifestyle and the training lifestyle both at the same time, and that's what I tried to do. And so the fight, I wasn't 100% me, even though I fought the best fighter in this world at this weight class. That wasn't 100% me, and I feel like I would have put on a much better fight if I had some more time to focus and and do me. With the Jack Catterall loss, what I took from that fight is knock these guys out, or the judges are going to rob you. That's what I took from that loss, because everyone that was there knows that I won the fight. Everyone that was there knows that I won the fight. Um, One judge gave it 118, 110. Like, that's mad. 118, 110. And in boxing, you got a lot of corruption that goes on in boxing, and a lot of the powers that be are not going to want to hear me say this, but fuck it, it is what it is. I believe I got done wrongly, and I'm not the only one. Look at Hakeem Ennis-Brown when he fought Sam Maxwell, he got done wrongly. Miguel Vasquez, when he fought Lewis Ritson, he got done
You're
wrongly.
seeing a lot of these days, right? You're seeing a lot of.
And I'm seeing it a lot more. But Catterall versus me, that was a prime example. Anyone that was there, anyone that sits down and takes time to watch that fight back knows I won the fight, and by far. To give it 118 to 110, mad. But I guess that karma came from him, because since then, he ain't done shit. He's done zero since then. Nothing. So you know what? Karma came back for him. Since the fight, I won the golden contract, and now I've got this big fight for the WBA gold. He was meant to have a world title fight, which has been postponed, and it's most probably going to be
Well,
postponed again.
it's interesting because you're talking about the Josh Taylor fight as though, like, you knew that you weren't 100% where you wanted to be. Well, we
Yeah.
know that life has a funny way of working out. As you know, your fight against Ismail is also going to be a WBA super lightweight eliminator.
Yeah.
So for that reason, now correct, you tell me, because I'm a little confused when it comes to the titles sometimes.
Mhm.
As we know, the super is Josh Taylor, but the
Yeah.
regular is
Tank.
Gervonta Davis.
Mhm.
So this eliminator obviously is for Josh Taylor, the winner of Taylor Catterall, right? So this
Mhm.
gives you an opportunity to potentially, if all goes well on November 26th, if you do it right, you focus, you buckle down and do the job, you could potentially end up,
With
having another opportunity to
rematch.
avenge a lot.
100%, 100%. I do think about that sometimes, but then I've got to correct myself because I can't be thinking about what's after the next step. My only focus right now is this next fight. And
Mhm.
once I get this next fight out the way, then I'll start to think about that. But before I fought Taylor, I had my whole boxing career planned out in my head. But you had it. I'm gonna knock out this barman and do this and do that and fight him. And then I got my ass whooped and I'm back down to square one. So now I take it one fight at a time. I'm not looking at that rematch. Only thing I'm looking at is Ishmael Broso. And then hopefully once I get through him, that's when I start thinking about, yes, now the rematch is here.
Right. Talk to me about the golden contract, because I know that when you last spoke to Behind the Gloves about 7 months ago, you said you were unsure if you were going to take the deal.
Yeah,
Really citing the not willingness to want to move to America and really
yeah,
kind of uproot your life into a different
yeah,
country. And to be fair, it's easier said than done,
mm,
because when I moved to England, it's
yeah,
a lot. It's mentally, emotionally a lot to
mm,
move to a completely different country. Culturally, although the two countries are probably the most similar in terms of
mhm,
like the differences with other countries, but
yeah,
it's still different nonetheless. And you're away from home. Like you said, you wouldn't be sleeping in your own bed. I know the feeling.
mhm,
It's not always easy doing that. But
yeah.
explain the decision. Like first of all, what ended up happening with everything? Because I don't even know.
Yeah, a lot of boxing fans don't understand that. A lot of boxing fans, they wrote in the comments, I'm not ambitious no more. I'm this, I'm scared. I don't want to fight in America. It's every fighter's dream. Yes, it's every fighter's dream until they get in the position that I'm in and they see the game for what it actually is. Then they realize what I thought was my dream isn't my dream. And that was my dream at one point, to go out there, fight MGM Grand, big lights in America. Now I was like, nah, I'm a lot more mature now. I see things for how they are. And mate, to me, that's all bullshit. I'd rather wake up in my own bed, get in a car to the venue and fight. I want to go on a contract. I'm the A side. Why should I have to move out to this place to go fight there? Why
Mhm.
can't it be on? It can't be on my home turf. I'm the winner, so it should be on my. It should be. It should be here up on my turf. So I turned that down, and I've still got big opportunities anyway. That's the other thing. It's the other thing is that I didn't need it. I didn't need it because I've got this big fight against Ismael Barroso. It's not like I needed that, and if I didn't take that deal, there's going to be no more opportunities.
Mhm.
Like I'm Ohara Davies. I'm always going to have opportunities because I've got a bit of a name. I tell you now, I'll lose my next 10 fights. There will still be opportunities for me. I'll lose my next 5 fights in a row. There will still be an opportunity to get me on a big stage because I've built myself up to a place where I'm always going to be a half. I'm not a name, but I'm half a name. I'm always going to be half a name, and so there's always going to be opportunities for me. So I don't need to rush to take this deal.
Mhm.
That's the good thing about I've got options, and I've played this game smartly. I've got options. I've made smart investments. So I don't need to dough. I don't need to fight because I'm not living paycheck to paycheck like I was or like most guys do. So a lot of those guys are the ones saying that I'm not ambitious, blah blah blah. All I got to say to them is, you stay in your lane, I stay in my lane. I'm doing good here. So just focus about you doing good.
Mhm. Well, obviously, you'll be fighting on November the 26th. And the card also features Badu Jack,
Mhm.
Rocky Fielding.
Mhm.
How exciting is it for you to sort of go over to Dubai?
Oh,
I'm assuming you have been to Dubai before.
I've been there a few times, yeah. I've been there about 2 or 3 times now.
I've never been there before.
Are you coming to the fight?
Well, I can't, unfortunately. But I mean, that's
Yeah,
even like a holiday weekend, so it's quite complicated.
yeah, Dubai is amazing. Like
Hmm.
last time I was there, I booked a flight for like 3 weeks. I came back after 6 days. That's how wild it got out there. Like Dubai is one of those places that
We
can
don't
be
need that.
wild.
We don't need that.
You don't need that. After the fight, I'm going back to wild. But before the fight, it's all about focusing. I've been there quite a few times, and I love the city, the country. Dubai is an amazing place, so I'm glad that I get the opportunity to fight there. And I want to stay there a bit longer after the fight starts, just to enjoy myself a bit. But just to fight in that country, I'm like, Dubai could be the next big thing in boxing because they got a few MMA shows out there now and a few boxing shows here and there. So I'm like, I could be one of the first ones to say, I boxed in Dubai, I boxed there. So just having the opportunity to say that, it's like a great thing.
Hmm.
I love Dubai.
So often we hear fighters talk about losing their passion for the sport.
Yeah.
It could be for many different reasons.
Mhm.
Some could be because there could be personal reasons. It could also just be because they're
Mhm.
overtraining. How do you sort of keep yourself from losing your passion?
I've never done anything else really apart from boxing. My passion would have been lost a long time ago because my passion for the game now is not like isn't anywhere near how it was at one point.
Mm,
But now I'm a lot more mature, so I'm more focused in a way. The fact that my passion's not like I'm not so excited by it, but I still go to the gym every day. I still train twice a day. I still diet right. I still make weight correctly. I'm still doing everything the same,
hmm.
but I'm just more in a mature mindset now. And I've never known anything else but boxing. Before boxing, I would have been a life of crime. I used to sell drugs here and there, commit crimes here and there, do a few phone robberies.
Hmm.
I used to rob a few people on the street side, and then I got into boxing. I got kicked out of my schools. Every school that I've ever been to, be kicked out of my primary school, my secondary schools. I've never known anything. So when I got into boxing, it was like, cool. I've never known anything else. So sometimes it's like, if my passion goes, I've got nothing else to get into. So I might as well go to the gym every day. I don't know anything else. So my passion, in that sense, it will never die because if I don't box, I'm bored. Apart from boxing, I'm bored. I've been learning about crypto. I've been learning about properties now. I'm now on a property market. I'm a landlord now. So these are things that I use also to take up I do in my spare time. I do research on the property market, on the cryptocurrency. But I can't do that 24 hours a day, can I? I got to go to the gym every single day.
Right. What crypto are you into right now? Just out of curiosity, because I've been getting into that myself.
The first coin I ever bought was Shiba Inu. That's the first coin I ever bought.
I have
So
Shiba Inu as well.
yeah, I bought Shiba Inu, but I bought Shiba when it went up, yeah, and then it went down. I lost a bit of money in that coin because I didn't hold. I
Mm,
bought a few coins here and there. I was losing like a bit of money, and then my friend told me about a coin. It's called Phantom. So Phantom was at 11 pence when I bought it. It shot all the way up to £1.40. So
wow.
£1.40. So I made half decent money on that coin, and I made so much money on that coin. And that's what allowed me to get this new flat that I bought. I bought this new flat through that coin Phantom because
Wow.
I put down a couple of grand on a coin, and when it went up, I was like, I got enough to get a flat now, like mad.
It's
So
it's crazy though, isn't it? Because like
mhm,
back in the day, it was in 2017. Someone goes, "You need to buy into this coin called Bitcoin,"
mhm,
and I knew nothing about nothing, so I didn't know. Like I looked at it as like gambling. Like if you put
mhm,
money in,
mhm,
like you could just put any money in, and then it's like.
yeah,
But I
mhm,
didn't understand that you had to pay a certain amount for one coin, right? I didn't get it.
mhm,
So I was like, I really missed out on that because apparently just after I bought into it, it crashed, but then it went right back up, and now look how much it's worth.
mhm,
So I learned from that mistake, but I did make some money, but not a ton,
mhm,
unfortunately. But I
yeah,
did buy into the Shiba Inu recently,
mhm,
and I got like quite a lot of millions of shares because I was
mhm,
like, you know what, I'm just gonna sit on it
mhm.
because even if it hits 1 cent, I'm
You're okay,
profiting massive. 1 cent. I
100%.
think about that. But I
Mhm,
got into it before it started to go skyrocket,
mhm,
so I got it at a pretty good rate. Um, and yeah, so it's interesting. But I see, look at like just
yeah,
a couple of grand ended up giving you a
mhm.
massive,
I
opportunity.
think
Like look, now you bought property off of it. It's insane.
I think Shiba Inu will get there eventually. I
Yeah.
think it will get to one set in the next year or so. But just in general, I've been using my free time to learn about inflation and what inflation does, about banking, about banks, and about a savings account, and about why having a savings account isn't a good thing. It's
Mm,
all about buying assets. It's all about don't keep the cash because that value goes down every day. If you keep a pound note in your bank, that value goes down every single day due to inflation. But what cryptocurrency is what they call an inflation hedge. You got certain jewelry, which is also an inflation hedge. Property is also an inflation hedge because they rise at the same percentage or probably even more than the rate of inflation. So I'm like, people saving up all their money for their kids one day to give their kids all this money. I'm like, don't give them money, give them assets, because that money, because that 5K now is not going to be worth that same 5K in the next 10 years. It might be like 2K. So it's better to give them, it's a lot better to give them a few assets that hold their value. This is why I've been using my free time to learn about these things, about the government and the banks and inflation and how they pump money into the system. They call it a liquidity injection, where they just pump millions and billions into the system, creating money from actual thin air, printing money, whereas us have to work for it. They just go backstage and they print it, and that brings our value down. But I've been using a lot of my time to learn about this,
Right.
because I feel like as an athlete, our careers are so short. Our boxing careers are so short. We need to maximize our earnings now, because I'm gonna look back one day and my boxing career is gonna be done. I'm gonna be like, what have I done? What have I earned?
Right. No, do you know what? I mean, I'd love to talk to you more off camera about that stuff, because I'm learning a little bit myself about it. I'm very new, but I've been definitely sort of dabbling in that and really kind of understanding how the system works,
Mm-hmm.
and the massive advantages, lucrative advantages that come with
Yeah.
knowing this information. Like, you're absolutely correct about that. So yeah, I'm pretty excited. I plan to sit on, mind you, it was in 2020 when someone goes, oh, something about Bitcoin, and go, oh yeah, I actually bought a little bit into that. And they're like,
Mm-hmm.
you do realize how much it's gone up, right? I didn't even know. I went and logged back. I had
Yeah.
to like go verify my ID. I had to get my app
Mm-hmm.
back to look into my account. And then I was like,
Yeah.
oh shit, I have money in there. And I really forgot about it, because like, what, 4 years had passed, and I was like, for just over 3 years, and
Yeah.
you had money. So the
Mhm.
important thing for me was sort of putting just enough in to where you're not going to hurt yourself not having it if you
Mhm.
lost it, but just
Exactly.
enough to where you know that you're going to really benefit from it when it does hit
Exactly.
the bucket.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
that's what I've been saying to everyone. Money to invest is not money that we use to spend, because obviously everyone's got their money to get by. You got your cab and your train and your petrol, your food money. That's not money to invest into assets.
Right.
Money to invest into assets is the money that you've got in a savings account that they say, you know what, I ain't got to touch this for 6 months or for 1 year.
Mhm.
That's the money to invest. It's not having it in a bank where the value goes down. And also the banks trade our money as well. That's what I start going and get interest for. That's what interest actually is. The bank give you interest, because if you got 10K in the bank, the bank go trade your 10K, make a 10K, offer your 10K, and then give you £10. And I'm just like, that's mad.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'd rather make a 10K off of my 10K than get £10 off the bank for yeah, like, I'm not sure if you get what I'm saying.
No, I do.
But
I
yeah,
totally do.
I learned about this stuff and I'm like, it's mad. Like,
It
this
is.
bank trade. So you know what? I need to trade to. So you know what? I've got to trade as well, and it's just like, it's all information,
Well, there's
knowledge, and I feel
power in
like,
knowledge. There's power in knowledge. So like, the
yeah,
problem is, half of the
mhm,
time, the reason why I would say about 98%, 99% of the world, which is why they say there's only 1% that's actually
mhm,
like really making the money in the
mhm,
world, is that we lack the knowledge of knowing
mhm.
how they're doing things.
Yeah,
So it's like,
exactly.
we when we know, ourselves can benefit from it, but
Mhm,
it works in their favor for us not to know. So
exactly.
yeah, so it's good to see. I'm really happy to see that you really benefit from it, and made some
Mhm,
profit, and was able to
mhm,
make a smart investment in properties. Like, I'm
mhm.
still waiting to get there. It'll come,
100%.
because I got
100%.
smart this time. I was like, I ain't making that same mistake I did with Bitcoin. But it's cool. Like, my whole family's in on it too. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, we're all gonna be rich in a few years.
100%. 100%. I've been trying to get everyone on this stuff.
Right. And it's good, because when you know, you start to hear about other ones too, and
Yeah.
you kind of learn the patterns of what works for
Mhm.
you, and then now you invest in the other ones. Because
Yeah.
what did they say? I saw some post where it said, just 10 months ago, if you had put $1,000 into Shiba
Shoot.
Inu,
It'd be 550 million. 550 million. I saw that one as well. I was like, damn. I
oh,
never knew about coins back then.
I
If
was like,
only
what?
I knew.
Where? It was like COVID. I was sitting at home. Like, it would be nice if I knew that.
Wow.
See how quickly it goes, and that's what they've been saying. Like, even just in a matter of, what was it, 5 months or so, seeing how quickly Shiba Inu has jumped. They're saying within the next year, it should definitely have hit at least $1. And if I could even just hit $1 off of my investments, I'm set.
That's mental.
It's insane.
That's crazy.
But you know what? Congratulations on that. Honestly, that makes me happy to hear that. It inspires me too to keep going. Like, I'm not cashing out. I'm sitting on it. I don't care if I lose everything. I'm holding. Hold the line. Well, Ohara, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. And you know what? It's really great to see that you're in such a strong mental space, and you seem like you really kind of figured it out, and you still have time to turn everything around for yourself. And I wish you all the best on November the 26th.
Thank you.
Well, any final words? Anything you'd like to say?
Thanks for listening to my interview. New OD, new me.
All right. Okay. Well, I wish you all the best, and hopefully we can catch up after your fight. And you know, Lord willing, if all goes in your favor, you'll be looking at some pretty big fights coming up.
100%, no doubt.
All right. Well, enjoy your evening.
Thanks, you too.
Hey Fight fans, it's Michelle Joy Phelps. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking this icon right here and hit the bell button below so that you can receive an alert every time we upload a new video.